Quick warning before the music hits. If you're looking for calm, reasonable sports talk, you're in the wrong locker room. Because Flagrant Foul with Rich and Nate just kicked the door open with muddy cleats and zero supervision. Olympic storylines, we're overreacting properly. Hockey world, consider this your notice. Kelly Cup race, the Ghost Pirates are duct taped to that playoff spot, and we respect the hustle. Bad takes, loud opinions, whistles absolutely swallowed. It's Flagrant Foul with Rich and Nate, and yeah, this one's getting sent to the league office.
Run this off. Run this off. Yeah. Hey, Cleveland roots with a reckless style. Take so bold, they're flagrant foul. House on the ice, Notre Dame pride. Wrestling talk about culture, ride from Rich to Nate. It's full court wild, sit back, press play. It's flagrant foul. Yeah. It's flagrant foul.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Flagrant Foul with Rich and Nate, episode 29. Not a ton going on in the sports world, but me and Nate are still hyped up and riding off that USA hockey high from the yesterday morning. So feeling the pride. USA. That was pretty sweet. Let's get it. So I'm your host, Rich. I got my boy Nate with me. I see he's rocking the new Savannah Ghost Pirates hat. It's looking pretty sweet.
Yep, we are full send on the Ghost Pirates. Right there, and this handsome fella right here on the front.
Do we know his name? The mascot has to have a name, right?
I think it's
Is it Boo?
Thomas.
Okay, we just gave a name, so if it wasn't, sweet. You still hype? You come down off of that national pride that you were feeling after USA put up the 2-0 men's and women hooping of Team Canada.
No, definitely still riding that. That was incredible. Did not expect it at all. So it was amazing. Team Canada, absolutely loaded, but not enough to handle the beast that is the United States of America. It was so
That's
awesome.
right.
So awesome.
Yeah, the grit, man. I think it's just there's not enough Kleenex in Costco to be able to trap all of the tears from the Canadian team. They are crying so hard. Nate and I, big Avs fans. Our Avs boys did not look wonderful yesterday. Taze, McCarr, or McKinnon did not have the greatest of games, but it is what it is. We still love them. McKinnon does need to learn how to chill out and quit making excuses. He's kind of some sour grapes. He was making me mad yesterday, but whatever. This is a take. I've heard this. I was reading this and I've seen this discussed about, people. I think if I put this at you, like hockey, people that play hockey, kids that play hockey, like what's the first thing you think? You think like rich kids, parents have money, the equipment's expensive and this and that, but quite honestly, the kids that sort of make it to the top, particularly with these U.S. teams, I think it's quite the opposite. I think there's a lot of like gritty blue collar, we put our hard hat on type of guys. Mom and dad definitely making sacrifices, drag these kids around, buy them equipment and all that good stuff. So, it's like, I think it definitely shows in the USA Hockey's game. I was listening to a take earlier and they were talking about, in Canada, it's gotten to be such a expensive sport. There's a lot of just like these like little prima donna babies like your Connor McDavid, that they maybe have lost a step in the grit. They do have Drew Doughty. He's a gritty player. Mark Stone's a gritty player, but
Marchand.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be some truth to that. I do think, though, when you look at that game, they said they got outplayed. I think you saw some crisper passing. I think all the way around, the skating was the most insanely fast game I've ever watched in my entire life. And, that translated in a little more like offensive, pushes up the ice for the Canadian team. But I think as far as hard skating and just playing two-way hockey, great defensively. You saw it with the freaking back-to-back penalty kill. Was that in the second period? I just think like to say that Canada outplayed the U.S., I don't think so. In a complete game, A, I think it was a great game all the way around, but B, the overtime it was 3-on-3 and the better team came out on top. So it is what it is. Swallow your pride. You lost is what it is, right?
Right. Here's the deal. We're the best there is, so that's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's basically our sport now, so
Yeah.
Hockey runs through USA, but it was, I will say this, there's some truth to this. You never see national pride soar like the USA hockey team. I don't feel like there's any other sport that just gets people like all of a sudden everybody's a hockey fan. Everybody's ready to like watch Rambo and run through a wall watching Team USA win. I don't know. It was pretty hype. I liked it. Also, shout out to Arizioni from the 1980 team. You see a lot of these like great teams and these players from these great teams across other sports. One comes to mind, like the 72 Dolphins, I think, were the undefeated NHL or NFL team. Anytime anybody gets close to them, you hear them start crying and whining and talking about, we did it first or nobody will be like us. They're a bunch of ingrates, but not Arizioni, just like a gracious guy. He's there to hype up the guys. It's like, I'm past torch. It's your guys' time. We're talking about this team, not the, what a gracious guy and what a awesome dude to represent USA hockey. I liked it. Hearing some of the commentators after the game trying to choke back tears, they were talking about it. It was just awesome. Great moment. I don't regret getting up at 6:05. So yeah, it was sweet. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the Olympics? It was seems like it came and went really quickly, man.
Yeah. It was a quick 2 weeks. I don't know. That was awesome. Pretty hyped. Run it back in 4 years. Do it again. That'd be crazy. But yeah, very excited.
You talk what this does to a generation. I don't know if you saw the clip of the Pee Wee game or whatever, hockey game, and the kids are like mid play and somebody cheers because the U.S. just won, and like the kid just stops and goes to the U.S. win, and then all the kids, the game just went away. All the kids are like hype, chant USA, running around the ice. It's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's totally awesome. How inspiring for like the next generation of kids. I mean, it's not going to get any easier. I think the sport's definitely grown, and anyway, but so take on the Olympics now that it's over. You and I have talked about several sports. If we've gone through this, I need you to give me what is the most overrated sport in the Olympics, and what was the most underrated sport?
For viewing experience, my personal opinion, and I think a lot of people disagree, I think that figure skating is overrated. I think I touched on that perhaps last week. It's just not my cup of tea, but underrated, I don't know. I was thinking a lot of the skiing stuff is pretty sweet, but I would say it's accurately rated. But I think luge does not get enough respect in
I think
skeleton.
that's a good one.
Because though they are flying, going 80 miles an hour on a sled with the
I'm
helmet
sure
on.
the time difference and when they actually air those events, maybe that had something to do with it. But I feel like compared to past Olympics, it's feel like this was the least coverage of the sledding events that I've personally ever seen. But I'll agree with you. I'm not going to take your take. I think, for me, ice skating, I think, is overrated. It just doesn't have the pizzazz for me. But not to steal that event, long distance speed skating, I mentioned it last week. I don't think we need it. You saw this week the short track speed skating. Some chick almost just took a blade across face. So the danger factor and the definitely adds to that. But I definitely think that long distance speed skating is overrated. And then as underrated, I gotta think. I think curling was the breakout sport. We kept talking about it, but as far as just sitting down, viewing, watching, definitely, if there was a sport now that the Olympics is over, that we could turn this into a league that I would watch, much like you watch the PGA during the off season, there's not much on. You're at a wedding. What's going on? You got, all the guys got a couple of beers and they're crowded around watching some freaking B-level PGA tournament somewhere. I would watch some curling. So those are kind of mine for this year. But anyway, we'll turn our focus towards the 28 Summer Olympics in LA. We'll have wrestling, so hyped about that. It'll be fun to see what happens in the next couple of years with these guys, gearing up to make the Olympic team. I definitely hope that the USA men, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of young guys coming up. I hope we have a better showing than we did last Olympics. I think it was pretty disappointing. Greco has been forever and a day disappointing, but I expected more out of the freestyle team. So, we'll see what happens. You and I were on to something, though, last week. talking about sports that could be added to the Winter Olympics from the summer. This week, out of blue, I see like basketball being talked about as like this should be a winter sport because it's a winter. The season is in the winter, so I say that with wrestling as well. Let's add it to the Winter Olympics, and I'm all on board. Yeah. So more hockey news. The boys. So I saw Team USA landed today. NHL fires back up Wednesday. So as great a start as the Avs had to the beginning of the season, they have a meat grinder to the end of the season. They did not. They played, I think, the least games in the league, so they have a ton of games to stick in against some of the toughest competition here for the last part of the year. So a good thing that they got that. They got the lead that they did. I'm going to tell you something. And maybe I've slept on this team. No, I don't like Dallas. Dallas seems to have our number, but I think overall, they don't scare me. I mean, Ottinger sort of is our kryptonite at the moment, but outside of that, some of these guys from the Wild that were on the men's teams or just in the Olympics here, dude, they're loaded at goalie. Quinn Hughes looked great. Matt Boldy looked great. Like, they got some players on that team. That's not even touching on your what's his name, the Russian kid. Why am I drawing a blank? But I'm thinking Kaprizov, yeah, Kirill the Thrill. Don't sleep on that team, man. They scare me.
And they had another player on Team USA. I can't remember his name. He's the one that doinked bar to take the lead, like almost to take the lead right after Canada scored. I can't remember his name, but he's also from the Wild.
So, I mean, both the Wild and Dallas are on our heels. So, a stumble and, really for me, it's whatever. I just don't want to finish with us and Dallas in the 2-3 spot and have that rematch. I'm fine playing. If we go to 2 and we end up playing, or 3 and we end up playing the Wild somewhere, even though, despite what I just said, it's fine. But I will say, some good things that came out of, you and I talked about going into the Olympics, some things we were afraid of with the Avs. It's like, we had some players that we were worried about getting some more, getting hurt and things like that. Kiwi Ranta was hurt prior to the Olympics. He had a good Olympics, so he got his legs back under him. Landeskog's another one. Net just looked great. I think he was the highest scoring Czech player in history for that team. So, like, it was probably good for some guys that sat to kind of get their legs back underneath them right there. So that's a good situation. But, I still feel like there's probably a move out there to be made. The Penguins, we kept talking about, the Sid trade's never happening and they were having a good year. But now you look at the league starting again and Sid the Kid's going to be sitting for a little bit with an injury. So, it'll be interesting to see if they're sellers. I think, the only other big name would be Evgeny Malkin. I can't imagine them moving him and him not leaving. Also, speaking of Penguins, I saw this week, finally Jaromir Jagr is going to retire. Dude's been playing, I want to say they said it was like 48 seasons or something insane like that. That dude's amazing. First ballot Hall of Famer, second all-time in points. To Gretzky, I think he's third all-time in league scoring. I mean, dude's an absolute animal and always been, so that's kind of a cool thing.
He's 54 in his 38th professional season.
38th, yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what he's done. So last thing on hockey, ECHL, we're our Savannah Ghost Pirates are riding a 4-game win streak. And this last weekend was good, man. We avenged a loss to the Solar Bears on Saturday, and then yesterday getting the dub over the Gladiators, which the Gladiators are sitting in the 2 spot. So that's a good win. They're back in action tomorrow night against the Gladiators. I think they got a nice little gap on the on the teams in 9th place. Who do we got here? So they're sitting in 8th. They got a nice little gap on the Worcester Railers. But it is top 4 per division. And they got a 8-point lead over the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. I was looking at conferences for the ECHL. Definitely, I gotta look at what conference is that actually called. The Eastern, it definitely looks like the tougher conference to me over the Western. So, I mean, I think that's good if you come out of there. That's also weird to me is How's Toledo in the Western Conference? I feel like that should be an Eastern Conference team, but like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I
What do
mean,
I
it,
know?
it is the East Coast Hockey League, so I mean, considering their relation to the East Coast, I would say they're Western.
I mean, that's fair. You do have some teams. So I'm looking right now at this Western Conference. So I know the Avs just announced their ECHL affiliate, the Goatheads. Is it the Albuquerque Goatheads?
I think it's just New
Who
Mexico.
or New Mexico? So they're not in the league. So that would make 31. So if I believe or if I understand correctly, I think next year they go to 32 teams with all ECHL teams having an affiliate. But there are a fair amount of teams out. You got Rapid City, Utah, Iowa, Tulsa, Wichita. Who else? You got Tahoe, Allen, Fort Wayne, Idaho, and Kansas City. So there's not quite but then you add New Mexico. I would say there's somewhere about 40% of the teams are west of the Mississippi. I don't know. Did you catch any of the action this weekend, Nate?
For the Ghost Pirates?
Yeah, bro.
So, I have the ECHL app, so I did, I was getting the updates. I knew that they had, pulled off a handful of W's, but I haven't, is there even a way to actually, like, stream it?
Yeah, it's on Flow. AHL and ECHL you can watch through Flow.
Were
I
you
may have to
watching it?
I may have to cop that subscription. They have like some free content, not for that game, but I may have to check that out. One thing I looked at, the Ghost Pirates barn is pretty sick. For essentially like a AA hockey league program, it's pretty nice, dude. It's definitely nicer than the Eagles, than the Budweiser Center was, but it looks pretty sweet. I'm sure that's a good time. It looks like they got some good bar action for some watch parties and pregame. Savannah's a nice warm climate, so it'd be sweet.
We gotta hit it up.
Yeah, we do. I was gonna ask you. We'll see. I know you've been a busy man, but MLB's back in action with spring training ball. Anything to share on the with Cactus League action? Last I looked, the Guards were 2-0.
I do got some information on that.
Hit me.
Since the last time you looked, including today, they are now 4-0. So,
Okay.
So far so good in spring training. Obviously means nothing, but we'll take wins where we can get them, being Cleveland fans. Also, some big news coming out of Cleveland. I think they officially broke yesterday. They've signed, I believe it's pronounced Reese, Rhys, but I think it's pronounced Reese. They signed Reese Hoskins, a veteran, turning 33 here next month, first baseman, to a minor league deal.
From the Brewers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Seen some people hyped about it, bringing in a veteran first baseman. Seen some people say dude's kind of mid. I think the thing with him is he's been in the league for a while. The past 3 years, he's had 2 injuries. I think he's coming off in a season that was ended with an injury. So that's the point of the minor league deal. Still trying to heal up. Plus, he's been kind of mid, but veteran presence nonetheless. So I think overall it's something to be excited for. Probably a bigger person coming to Cleveland for the Guardians at least than we've had in I don't even know how long. They never bring in anybody. Like,
Yeah, I saw they look like
everyone comes
they
up through the minors, whatnot.
it looked like they had brought in some pitching. No, nobody super notable. It's relatively the same core team that overachieved. I'm sorry, last year, solid pitching. So we'll see what happens once the season starts. I mean, we know what we're gonna get. They typically do overachieve. This is not a team that's gonna go out and make some big headline signings. So anyway, we'll be ramping up some more MLB news here.
Also, I think it was sometime last week, Emmanuel Clase, Luis Ortiz both plead not guilty to their betting debacle. Those two are going to jail for a long time, and they're never playing baseball ever again.
Yeah.
I feel that the Guardians deserve some, like, they should get something. They just lost their best closer.
Yeah. I mean, you know how that goes. The league's not going to reward us because we had guys that are
We just
doing the
got
wrong
gypped.
thing.
They're just like, yeah,
Yeah.
sucks to suck. Literally, let me try again. Literally a week before the Manuel Clase was getting traded. Like right before the trade deadline. So
Yeah.
frustrating. That dude's a wang.
You screwed us.
He did.
Yeah, he did. Well, transitioning over to teams that will spend a little money or make splashy moves, I should say, the Cleveland Cavaliers. So they did the trade for James Harden a couple weeks ago, and then we're running off a 7-game win streak, starting to move up the ranks. They're in the 4th spot and about a game behind the Knicks, 2 behind the Celtics. However, since me doing my little research, they did drop a game. I believe that was yesterday, but
Yeah,
looks
I
like
actually watched that game. They lost to the Thunder. That was the first loss that Harden had in Cleveland. They started off like first period, or let me try again. First quarter.
yeah, it's
We
okay. You
can't
got
talk today. We can't.
You got USA Hockey on the brain. We're both groggy from yesterday's
Yeah,
excitement.
we can't talk today.
No.
First quarter they were down like 25-8. So
Yeah.
they climbed themselves out of a pretty big hole, but couldn't pull it off.
Yeah.
But James Harden's been goated since he's been here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, they're definitely a better position. I think they'll make a run for it. They'll make the playoffs, and then I guess, anything can happen. But are you feeling better about the team?
Definitely, I think that they're with James Harden. Just seeing how these past couple of games have gone, they could do it this year.
Yeah. So I know we usually start off with the Browns. We didn't have much to say. It's been a relatively quiet week, but I would say, 2 things I do want to touch on with the Browns is the jock news that I heard yesterday. And, it did come from Mary Kay, who I don't put much faith in. However, she's not the only news source. And I think from what we've seen, unfortunately, folks, I don't think we're going to get to see our boy Sunshine Carson Schwarzenegger lining up with Jock ever. And that really sucks. To essentially in like back-to-back year. Was it back-to-back years or same years that we lost?
Chubb.
We lose Chubb to the Steelers and we lose Jock to the Ravens. So pretty
Something I
frustrating.
will say about this, Jock threw on his Instagram story yesterday. Now I can't remember what he said. Basically, like questioning, like, what is this news? Like, basically, implying that Mary Kay. I was trying to think of a better word. So I would.
you were trying to go worse and you corrected yourself. I got you.
So, who knows where she got that information from, but JOK is thinking that it is not quite time to call it. So we'll see.
Well, I hope he does do the Bobby Boucher and show up at halftime of the Bourbon Bowl and prove everybody wrong. But, provided that doesn't happen, and we know we're probably losing Devin Bush because we can't really afford him. I wish we could. I'm all about Jacob Rodriguez. I say we snag him 4th, 5th round, probably 5th rounder, maybe. I think he's 5th rounder. I think I would love that so much. But so that was a big one. The other one is just more talk about Malik Willis, and I just don't see it, man. I don't know how we afford it. I think it's just the media trying to continue to perpetuate this. Are the Browns really going to go into the season with the quarterback room the way it is right now? No. I think Dylan's going to be gone, and I think they're going to add somebody else, either if it's another, journeyman backup vet, or we draft another guy. But I do think they're going to run with Deshaun Watson. And I've seen a lot of people are like, it's so polarizing. I've seen like, they're absolutely going to run with Deshaun Watson, and other people are like, he'll never play another. I don't see if he's on the roster. Well, I'm not sure why you don't think he's ever going to play again. If he goes out after all the money they spent on him and he's the best player, I think the dude's going to play.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that. They're obviously going to do go through training camp and figure out who is the best quarterback, and if that is Deshaun, he's going to play. I agree. He's getting paid that money. They're going to play him if he is the best choice. But a name I saw today that was popping up for a potential Ty Simpson from Alabama coming to Cleveland. I don't like it. I don't
like that either.
Him. I saw somebody was like, I've seen enough out of Ty Simpson to take him in the first round. If they took Ty Simpson in the first round, Andrew Berry needs to be taken out back and be executed.
I honestly I could get behind. I'd like to roll with the two guys we had, and while I don't think he's any world beater, I'd take a flyer on Drew Aller. I think this is value from what he would have been if he wasn't hurt, and you get that guy. If he falls on the 7th run, you don't have him as a developmental guy particularly over Dylan. He's got size and he had some skill. He played in a Big Ten program. I'd be okay with that. So, by that time in the draft, I mean, what are you drafting? You going to get some special teams guys maybe in that round?
O-line?
Yeah, maybe. But I feel like in the mocks, in my expert mock drafts that I've done, there's a lot of guys that you're looking at that are highest rated by the 7th round that are going to end up being undrafted that you can still go after and get. So I don't know. But, yeah, that was really it on the Browns front. I didn't hear much more. We do plan on, after our vacation, Nate and I are heading to sunny California at the end of the week. Try to get Big D on one of the next episodes, and we'll do a little bit deeper analysis. But yeah, before we know it, we'll be into April. We'll be doing that expert draft talk, dude. So you know what I'm saying? Moving on, wrestling-wise, some big matches. Iowa over Okie State. Okie State gave them an absolute thumping. I think that was loss number 6 for Iowa. Just another bad year. And, really the highlight of that to me, I will say this, Gabe Arnold did get jobbed in overtime. That was that was bad. You'll have to watch. I'll send you the video. But outside of that, I mean, it's things like, Drake Ayala, got absolutely worked. That was the big news. Jax Forrest pulled his red shirt. So he will be the guy, the remainder of the year for Big 12s and for, NCAAs. But man, Tech fall over, 2-time finalist Drake Ayala. What is going on? And I think it's just another, look, I've said this multiple times. The Brands brothers they had their time and they were great wrestlers, but man, they are just not maximizing the talent that they're bringing in. And I'll point to another guy that I think I've seen do that is Ben Cooter. I think he came in pretty highly touted, and he is a top guy, but I think he's sort of underachieved. While not being maybe one of the bigger heavyweights, but just an absolute thumping. So did you catch any highlights, any thoughts on the Okie State match?
I think really the only match I saw, and I didn't even see anything from the match, just saw the outcome of Jax's match, and then I saw the final score of the duel as a whole, but I didn't really see what happened. I saw Okie State, they're ranked 3. I didn't know that. I haven't really been paying attention all that much.
Yeah, I think they were 6, but they've been coming on here a little bit. I
Are
just
they
think
3 now, or maybe I'm tripping?
No, they're 3. They're 3, and I think they're in a medal contention. They're in medal contention. I just think, this year, I think they'll close gap to Penn State. I don't think that Kale's shown any sort of dropping off with his recruiting or his team. So, I don't right now see anybody beating them in the next couple of years, but I think they're definitely in contention. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think, I don't know that they topple Ohio State. I still, Ohio State is going to be a good tournament team. I think they'll have quite a few All-Americans. I think they probably will have at least one repeat. The only one they can, Jesse Mendez. But outside of that, I think Okie State definitely will be battling for that 3rd trophy, and maybe slide in there for 2, but we'll see. Jax definitely does give them some star power, and it gives them national championship potential. However, 133 is just absolutely stacked. So, despite how anybody is, can you be healthy? Can you stay rested? Can you keep yourself out of crazy stuff? You saw the match against Virginia Tech the week before. He's gritty and he's a dog, and he found a way to win that match. I wouldn't say that was his best match. You're just not going to be able to have oops moments in the tournament, and that goes for any of the top dogs at 33. So, we'll see what happens. On the Berg front, not remember her first name, Miracle. I think she made it to day 2, had a pretty good tournament, but I think, pretty great, successful first season for Coach Randolph and the Berg women's. It was pretty, exciting to see them get the team fired up. I think big things ahead of them. They got a good coaching staff, and, they're only going to get stronger. As for the men, I know we had a couple guys go to Midlands, or not Midlands, the Futures tournament, I'm sorry, and got some placers there, so good experience for some of the depth on the team. But is it at ONU? They kick off regionals starting this Friday, or is it Thursday? Is it 2 day? I think it's Friday, Saturday. Pretty sure it's Friday, Saturday. So anyway, good luck to Berg Wrestling. So I got questions for you. With the USA Hockey winning, and I know that jersey's out of stock. That jersey is sweet as hell. The Nike ones. I wanted to get your take. Best jersey in sports. I need you to hit me with top 3. So is that the jersey's cool? Is it the color scheme? Do they got cool logo? I don't care. You can go. I'll even add college. So the big 4 plus college, and I'll let you throw in like Olympic hockey in there too.
So you want one for each league?
No, just give me top 3 overall, and you can pick from any of the above.
Are we going current or all time?
All time.
That's a big difference.
All time, and that makes it hard.
Do you have a list?
No, I'm just thinking of some.
Current.
I'm going to say this as a huge football guy, and I do love the Browns uniforms and their look, and I do love Notre Dame's unis and the look, and they're classic and they're great. They're not. Neither of those jerseys are making my top 3 because it's relatively a plain classic look. And I would say NFL overall are pretty boring jerseys. Even like every once in a while they do the color rushes. They're pretty boring. I think there's some cool. So then I'll go for that. If I'm going NBA, I would say definitely it's going to be more some of the classic looks. So I'll maybe do some different
Grizzlies.
Sports. So I would say OG Celtics is cool. OG Lakers are cool, like old ones. But then I would say some of the more clever, cool ones, like Seattle Supersonics was a dope look, and the old school Toronto Raptors were a cool look. The old school Orlando Magic Penny Hardaway with the pinstripes are dope. From an MLB standpoint, I think the Athletics and the Angels have some pretty sick unis. I think the Padres have cool looking unis. Honestly, all the California teams have some pretty good look. So I'll do that. I'll go that. But if you put gun to my head, I got to pick. They're all hockey, man. I think if I'm going the original 6 jerseys are all sweet. So I would say some like best classic jerseys that are pretty much unchanged. Maple Leafs, Montreal, Chicago, Detroit, Rangers, Boston. Pretty hard pressed to beat an original 6. Those are sweet. But then I'm going to get in there. This may be timely and maybe because it just happened. The USA hockey jerseys are freaking sick. Those are, I'm going to put them up there. It could be changed, but that's my 3. 2, I'm going Paul Kariya era Anaheim Mighty Duck jersey is pretty sweet. And my number 1, the Phoenix Coyote with the crazy coyote and like
the Kachina.
Mexico. Those are pretty sweet. Like, I think that's a solid top 3 right there. What do you got?
Pretty tough. At 3, I don't know. There's so many good ones, but I really like Nordiques and I really like Whalers, and I don't feel like I can pick. So,
like, how do I forget the Whalers? That's a bad.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm gonna not listen to your rules, and the Whalers and Nordiques tied for 3rd place. Now I'm gonna totally go off here. I'm doing top 5. I can't do.
Yeah, there's no rules. It's whatever you want.
All right. So okay, I'm gonna go Nordiques 5, Whalers 4. Then I feel I really like the St. Louis Cardinals blue jerseys. But I think the Phillies also have blue as well. Yeah, they do. I think I like the Cardinals better. The St. Louis Cardinals blue jerseys are sweet. I'm trying to include all sports here.
Those are pretty. Baseball has some sick jerseys.
So that's my 3. 2, I'm gonna go to the NFL, even though you said it was buns. Creamsicle Buccaneers.
Those are decent.
Some of the greatest uniforms. They're not decent.
Pat the Patriot logo is decent.
There's just so many good ones. And then here, I'm gonna go number one, I think has to be those like teal Grizzlies. The OGs. Memphis Grizzly. Or no, the Vancouver. When they had those, I guess they would have been. But those are sweet. Honorable mention to the old Raptors, the old Pistons with the chest piece or whatever that's supposed to be. We could probably do a top 100 and not be able to include all the awesome jerseys.
Yeah, I would agree. And I'm going to make it even harder. Like, the Seattle Supersonics ones were dope. The old Sean Kemp day. Freaking, I had a pair of the shorts. Looked ridiculous. I may be balling out with those. And my boy Big D, I think he had like the UMass shorts. We'd be getting our asses kicked at St. Mary's by his dad and the old men crew. Freaking beating our ass, but we thought we could ball. We couldn't. Anyway, this one now, because there's so many good jerseys. I need you to go out left field and you got to hit me with best college non-Division I jersey / mascot. And then you got to follow it up with high school. I already got my two, and I got two great ones.
Dude, I don't even know that
Top
many
of your head.
non-Division I schools.
Do you know a few? I mean, you got like School of Mines with the donkey. I think is pretty decent. I don't know. All right, Division II. Sick name, sick unis, Richmond Spiders. They're awesome. Historically, a pretty good football program. And then high school. Yeah. And then high school. I'm going to steal this one. You're going to get mad at me, but I'm pretty sure they've gotten a mention before. Hands down, the sickest unis and mascot I've seen was the Fisher Bunnies, and their helmets are insane. Yeah. They might make a top 10 list of any unis in sports. That is an insane look. So, yeah.
That's a good pull.
That is.
That's a good pull. I don't know. Non-Division I can't think of anything good. I like purple. Technically our Heidelberg rivals, but we'll go Mount Union because I like purple.
Okay.
Any jersey that's got purple, I'm a fan of.
Okay.
And then
Washington.
School,
yeah.
Washington.
No, that was D1. I was thinking the Huskies, but because aren't they silver and purple? Yeah.
I don't know. Bear Creek's uniforms were pretty bad. I might just go with the Sun Valley Spartans because I like the maroon and gold.
Yeah, same color scheme, but I'll put up my alma mater, the ALHS Shorty Shoreman gun show with the anchor, rocking the old, the USC look, even though USC is my Notre Dame rival. But those were sick uniforms and continue to be sick uniforms. So anyway, you and I know we could talk swag forever, but I had to know because, we picked our rooting rival in the ECHL based off of A, were they a playoff caliber team, and B, how sick was their logo? I'm still feeling good about our Savannah Ghost Pirates. I think the logo's sweet. The hat looks good. So anyway, well, we'll get into this next, but I do have banger of the week. This was a hard one this week. So for me, I was going to go old school because I heard it with a little Belle Biv DeVoe and Poison. This is kind of a bop. But then I was out, there's like an era of music. It's like metal, hard rock, new metal. I don't even know what you necessarily call it, but it's like totally captures like a era of like early MMA, UFC, people rocking their Affliction shirts, and that's Disturbed. And that Stupefy came on while I was at a brewery last weekend, and I was like, this is a pretty hype song, and it still does get me fired up. It makes me want to go hit a golf ball real hard, or get hyped up for a wrestling match or something. Literally translates to all sports. So that's my banger of the week. Stupefy, Disturbed. What do you got?
Yeah, I already sent you this over the weekend. Baby Keem dropped a new album. My favorite song. I know you probably didn't even listen to it, or you were just trying
I did
not to
listen
hurt my
to
feelings. Dramatic Grow by Baby Keem on the new album
Time
is
out.
valid.
In the history of this almost 23-year father-son relationship, have I ever tried to not hurt your feelings? No.
Okay.
I tell it like it is. The song was good. All right, hit me with it. Baby Keem dropped this week. What's the song?
It's a dramatic girl by Baby Keem.
Okay. We'll listen to it. Well, as mentioned, Nate and I will be headed to California. We're going to San Diego, flying in Friday. Be there till Tuesday. And what are we getting up to, Nate?
No, I'm probably drink like 6,000 to 7,000 beers. Go from there.
I like it. Okay. I figure we hit up the beach. No, maybe we do some surfing. Definitely got to rent a wetsuit. I did some investigating on that, so I'm up for it, but I ain't trying to freeze my ass off, so we'll maybe do that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cold.
No, we're doing it. Look, I looked up some rental places. You can get wetsuits with the board, so we'll hit that up. I think we're checking out the zoo, maybe go over to Coronado. We'll see. Dude, your mustache is very crunchy sounding.
I'm trying to get it to curl here.
In honor of baseball season, Nate's pulling out the 1974 shortstop for the Milwaukee Brewers look. It looks pretty sweet. I like it. Well, that'll be exciting. We plan on doing a little vacation from the road podcast, so we'll hit you from a few different places. I'm sure it'll be fun. I figure we have several different airports on this, so it's been a minute since you and I have gone on a airline rant, which will be interesting. I got a lot of flying out of me this year, so stay tuned for that one. But yeah, it's good. What else you got, Nate?
I'm just excited to get up out of here. We got our second winter, a whole bunch of snow, so I'm ready to see the sun and the ocean.
Yeah, you all got slammed. Kind of sucks, but whatever. Well, it should be good. We'll catch y'all next week. Hopefully there'll be some good breaking news. The Browns will hit us with some out of the blue surprise signings that we were unaware of. It won't happen. But otherwise, everybody stay cool. We'll catch y'all next week. Stay classy, Cleveland. Nate.
Peace out.
Later.
Combat beat kicks in crowd noise, whistle blows.